update, new season for W3C. And at the same time, we get patch notes for PTR version 2.0.3, which comes with a lot of like quality of life stuff, plus a couple of balance changes, which I find not perplexing, but interesting. Because generally that's what it is, right? So there will be some things of interest to you guys, some things are not interest. I think the raised dead in the patch notes is meant to be animate dead level 6 DK ability. Yes, you were right, Figglewood. We'll get to that. So some general fixes. They added a countdown timer for the UI on construction and training. Tyler suggested countdown timer to Grubby during coaching. Grubby said it was a good idea and passed it to Blizz. Well, I imagine a lot of the good ideas Blizzard gets is from other people and content creators. So, but that was a good suggestion by Tyler. Fix an issue where map music would sometimes continue playing at the end of the map or during cinematic. Fix an issue where some triggers were sometimes not saved correctly. Existing save games may still have this issue, but new ones should be now saved correctly. Fix an issue where going into a single-player custom game would sometimes put you into a multiplayer lobby. See, I don't know any of these. It's not a big thing in terms of balance and those type of stuff. Getting all those ideas from people who don't even play Warcraft 3 instead of our community top-notch. Listen, I'm not sitting in that boardroom where they're like, how do we balance this, right? But it must be the smallest department in the whole company. You know, balancing the old games. Performance stuff. They've optimized AI functions for finding building locations. Okay. Optimize heavy particle counts for the reforged FX. Okay, fine. So more visual stuff, like this is just the generic things. We'll go over it. Oh, 7 streak by Mr. Snoot Boobles. Merci beaucoup. Updated reforged shaders, stuff to do with intensity of the lighting and the shadows. Added options for ambient occlusion and bloom in the options. These settings will lower performance when enabled in 4K resolution. No problem. Fix an issue where units transparency were less transparent. Fixed an issue where custom unit portraits were incorrectly inheriting a portrait from their base units. Fixed an issue where icons for custom skins would sometimes show their base icons. And fixed issue where units would sometimes be invisible after loading a saved game. Okay, that's a weird one, right? Right there. Okay. I'm not going to get into the world editor stuff, but there's a bunch of fixes for the world editor, which I guess if you're a map maker like Figglewig, I think that's a big ordeal. And there's a lot of things there, so I won't go through that. But one thing that they really changed for quality of life is that for hotkeys, significantly increase the amount of bindable keys. So you can actually go through the command the command menu and check for bindable keys. And some people did it already. And there's a lot more opportunities to bind keys. They added new bindable commands for menu, game replay, and observer commands. Added a conflict section in the hotkey menu to display any conflicts. Okay. Clicking on a conflict will bring you to the relevant hotkey. Added support for non-QWERTY, non-English keyboard layouts while using grid keys. That's really, I think that's important because Warcraft 3 and in general, like it's a global game, right? It's funny though, even here we have that issue with French keyboards, but multiplayer. Fix an issue with arranged team badges not displaying correct info. Fix an issue with MMR level not being displayed on loading screens. Added MMR data to solo and arranged team badges. Adjustments were made to how MMR gains and losses are calculated. So that's new. They've adjusted the ladder, presumably, to adjust the gains and the losses calculated after you play a match. So presumably if, let's say, Hyperreal, who's, let's say, in the 3000s of the BattleNet MMR, played somebody with, like, I don't know, 4500 MMR, maybe Hyperreal would lose a lot less from losing. So, interesting, right? Now, let's get into the balance chat. You guys feel free to add your comments. General stuff. All weapons with ground area of effect attack have the ward unit type added to their list of area effect targets. So apparently ground area effect attacks, and I imagine, I was just going to say pulverize, and it's there. So certain attack effects will affect wards because they're no longer, you can't dispel them, right? You have to be a physical attack, right? Cleave, pulverize, mostly siege units. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. So, Orc Pulverize can now target wards, and Burning Oil can now target wards. And Burning Oil is not a magic thing; it's a physical damage thing, right? Night Elf, pick up Archer, mount Hippogriff, and dismount cooldowns decreased from 30 to 5 seconds. They didn't add the seconds part here, but it meant to be seconds, right? I don't like this. I think 30 seconds is too long, and I think 5 seconds is too short. And you're really gonna see people getting into the Archer dismount. Although it might be as something to think about versus like gargoyles or something like this. I thought this was too strong until Grubby pointed out that no one makes siege units and doctors in the same game, unless you're me, because I do. Because I will go. I've tried, especially against. I will if I need to. We'll put it that way, because if they have a lot of witch doctors, because I'd say my MMR of what I've seen, not a Grubby's MMR. If they're building witch doctors, they're building witch doctors with like headhunters or something like that. And if you're assaulting the base and they're towering, or you're trying to assault their base, even one demolisher with burning oil makes a big difference if you get that far. Do they regain and gain health quickly? Not that I know of. They shouldn't. But don't sleep on demolishers. Undead. Units resurrected by Raised Dead, which is the level 6 ability of the Death Knight, now have access to the abilities they had when they were alive, which means if you raise dead a peasant from a human player, you can build a town hall. It's almost like a possession. If you raise dead a witch doctor, you have access to their skills. That's pretty cool. I think that makes raise dead even that much better. I mean, if you get level 6 Death Knight at that point in the game, it would be interesting. You need 2 casts of the ultimate to build a human town hall. Well, that's why you got to raise dead of like, I don't know, 6 of them? Something like that? Yeah. So then going into the peon thing, if you raise dead a peon, you could build a town, you can build a great hall, no problem, because they're physically in the great hall while they're building it. And then the timers pause, right? So like you said. So that's going to be interesting. Hey, salut. Masava. So Lich Frost Nova range increased from 700 to 750, 750. I'm doing well. Just we're doing some PTR discussion and just review that we're going to put for the YouTube. I was on the fence about this before. I always thought Frost Nova range should be reduced, but after seeing a lot of like replays and casting and stuff like that, like I'm okay with this for undead. I think this is really about versus Night Elf. Yeah, imagine raising Magnetar Reavers and frost bolting enemies. Oh, we're gonna get to the panda changes. Neutral changes, which is there's a lot of them. Pitlord Cleave can now target wards. 100% makes sense. No issues with this. Dark Ranger drain life mana cost decrease from 50 50 50 to 25 25 25. I have no problem with this. I think it's a good change. Dark Range drain life self-damage type change from magic to universal. This will allow life drain to continue to transfer while the caster is magic immune. So I'm presuming that you could drain life from a breaker, drain life from a Tauren, something like that, or a mountain giant, assuming they have the abilities. Oh, this is the transfer. Right, this is the transfer. Universal allowed life drain to continue transfer while caster is magic immune. Okay, so has to do more with the anti-magic shield or invulnerable type of thing. Okay, so that's a good fix, right? That's a good fix. I misread that. Tinker Pocket Factory Spawn interval decreased from 4.5, 3.5, 3 to 4.54, 3.53 and for the per engineering level. I think this is okay. I think the factory spawn in general is pretty strong, so I think that's fine. Tinker Cluster Rockets max damage per interval increased from 105, 195, 300 to 200, 250, 300. Oh, man. This is tough. This is really tough. Max damage per interval increased. I mean, I have no problems buffing this a little bit, but I think 105 to 200 is a big jump. And even 195 to 250 is a bit of a jump. I think they're trying to make like equal number, 50-50 balance, but you're going to see, yeah, I don't know, you might see a little bit more rocket abuse for things. No, it's better at lower levels, and it's pretty much the same for high. But this is a big difference for the lower level, right? This is a big difference, and you're going to see people. And I would say level 1 rockets is not fantastic, but I think there's a reason for that. It shouldn't be. This doesn't affect damage against singular targets, only against many targets. No, 100%, 100%. 150, 225, 300 might be a better start. I agree with Figglewig. I think whenever you make changes, you make small changes. A 105 to a 200 is a big jump, in my opinion. Brewmaster Breath of Fire damage increased from 65, 125, 170 to 80, 130, and 180. If you're just talking about this, I think it's a little bit much. Breath of Fire damage is already pretty strong at level 3. Level 1's not. I don't know if this is the answer, but we'll see. But the reason why they're adding this change is because they did other changes. So Brewmaster Breath of Fire magic max damage increased from 480, 800, 1200 to 600, 900, 1200. And I think the max damage, we're getting into the area effect now with the other changes. And the area effect is changed from 125, 125, 125 to 25, 25. This is like this is a big change. And I understand they're trying to make it so it makes sense, because if anybody's played against Panda or used Panda, you know that sometimes when you cast the ability, the range in which the damage affects everything is further out than what it actually the animation is. But I don't know about all the extra damage and the area effect. This would force like the Panda actually getting closer to towers. Really, and let's say a human base towers up a little bit, and some arcanes, it really forces the Panda, the Brewmaster, to get in there and take damage from the arcane, like closer range. So I don't know if this is the answer. I don't know if this extra damage is the answer. Yeah, this is the area of effect, like all encompassing, right? So it's the area effect is smaller in general. Now I don't know about the distance, but if you read, like I'm gonna read the bottom part, it makes more sense. Okay, the initial part of the cone. There you go. Brewmaster Breath of Fire final effect from 300 to 125, 125. Previously, Breath of Fire could hit units that were significantly farther away than the visual of the spell suggested. So I just said this. Okay, so think about Figglewig saying about the cone distance. It's the cone distance. So Breath of Fire would hit further than what you can actually see. So these changes make it so that the area effect are brought in with the visuals, kind of in line. And then the area of effect parameter controls the initial width of the breath, while the final area of the effect controls the radius at the tail end of the spell. So it's a cone. Basically, they're trying to control that. And to compensate for the nerf, the overall damage of the spell has increased. To be fair, the only way we're going to see how this really plays out is if we see it. And we see it in games. Is it too much of a nerf? Is it too much of a change? Is it a big difference? I think we all can agree that the range on the skill was too strong, or too long. But this is like a complete rework of the panda. So makes you wonder a little bit. I mean, I'm on the fence on it because I have to see it. Creeps remove Vampiric Aura and Death Coil from level 3 Skeletal Orc. That's an interesting change. I think that might be a good change for maps. And then there were some bug fixes. Fix an issue where the Tinker stacking the effects. Oh, this is the one that Grubby found out about through Direct Strike. That was there a long time. Fixed an issue with Tinker stacking the effects of regeneration from items when killed in Robo form. So, if the Tinker was in Robo form and had a Ring of Regen, he would get the rapid benefits of it after, and then they stacked with other Rings of Regen. It was crazy. I saw somebody do a demo on it. So they fixed that. Fixed an issue where the Demon Hunter emulation would continue to drain mana, would turn off if immolation is level during Hex. I feel like this has been known for a long time, and I feel like we've talked about this like months and months and months ago. I feel like this has been there for a long time. Units that are Hex no longer have a short window where their item bonuses do not apply to them. Oh, really? That's interesting. Didn't know that was an issue either. You say let the demon burn. I say the mana tick on the demon hunter should be more. Although I'm still think that the demon hunter starting armor should be one less. Orb effects will now properly proc when units auto acquire targets. Orb of Slow and Orb of Lightning will now function properly if bought while silenced, because when you got silenced for some reason they weren't working properly. All right, let's go into some changes. Some posts by people under. Great changes overall, especially the orb fixes. They're long overdue and very appreciated. It's fantastic to see meaningful progress on both the editor and game systems. I agree. That said, it would mean a lot to see the critical lobby bug addressed as well. With lobbies breaking after 15 to 17 minutes, it's currently very difficult to test or enjoy custom maps reliably. This is true. Lobbies are constantly bugging out on Battle.net. Happy will lose his Lich again after this patch? Maybe. So that's interesting. Please revert Panda Breath of Fire nerf. Just increase the fire animation size. The size nerf will have a major negative implications for fighting against certain builds. Green Wolf might have a point here. Yeah, I think the panda change, I understand where they're going with it. I think it's a bit of a weird, like it's like gone too far. You know what I mean? Here's Neo. Is this the Neo? Is this back to Warcraft Neo? Awesome changes to hotkeys. Agreed. Awesome changes. Awesome to display protection in seconds. Agreed. Awesome to see work improve overall. Yes. Awesome to see world editor getting love. Agreed. Awesome to see explanations from you for certain changes. Agreed. So far, big win. Drag scroll didn't work anymore while I was testing. Would love to get that fixed. Aha. There's a reply under this. Nope. Warcraft 3 Reforged is coming to Game Pass in less than a week, so I hope Blizzard Fix addresses this. Seems like a missed opportunity for such a large influx of potential new players to meet with bug custom game lobbies. Yeah, that's right. Please make a minor fix for the editor. It would be nice if they don't resize the columns of the variable window every time we open it. Yeah, Mac issues. Yes, thank you. Nice. Highlights here. Love seeing things that the shake up with the meta. I'm concerned that the Brewmaster changes are too much. Shaking up the meta is good, but I'm not happy to see a nerf to the AoE size. We will have to see PTR games to see how that shakes out. Blizzard patches and bug patches like this give players like me some hope. Bit by bit, that you do care about the game. Whatever company-related issues that are stopping you from providing fixes to the biggest issues, I hope are overcome and more people keep learning about this awesome game. Yeah, the Mac isn't an issue. It's still not working as intended, yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah, the drop bug and stuff like that's an issue. Finally, an orb fix. Panda change feels very weird. I think so. Adjustments were made to how MMR gains and losses are calculated. Can you elaborate on this going forward for the 4v4 MMR? I would like to know that too. Pretty nice changes. Will 3v3 and 4v4 ATs be mixed with RTs? Good question. Panda is one of the most overturned and oppressive heroes in the game for 1v1. So many low hit point unit strategies are completely not worth investing in simply because the enemy can instantly counter by getting a Panda. Not to mention the Panda is one of the best AoE damage heroes, one of the tankiest heroes, one of the best auto attack heroes, and one of the best item scaling heroes in the game, while also having a phenomenal AoE debuff and scariest ultimate and 1v1 matches in the entire game. All that from a neutral hero that you can instantly buy from a tavern. Wow. Maybe he has a point. Maybe he has a point. Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. So far, outside of the Panda change, I think a lot of the changes are good. So that's hard to say because we don't normally have good things to say about patches in general. But this is a small PTR patch, right? It's nothing big. You won against a Panda Ultimate on ladder, point invalid? No, that's not true. So there you have it, folks. That's not much to talk about there, but it's good. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the channel.